Welcome, everyone, to the Insurance Perspectives Podcast. I'm super excited today to be joined by Mr. Billy Wagner, territory owner at Brightway Insurance. Billy, thank you so much for being here and welcome to the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Brad. It's great to spend some time with you, and my goal is to try to add as much value as I possibly can to the audience. I absolutely love this industry, and uh, I just love giving back when I can. I know I stand on the shoulders of giants and learned a ton from people as I came up, and I'm happy to spend some time with you giving back today.
Super excited to get into a variety of topics today. You always bring so much value, and just I learn something every time we get together. So it is great. Billy is a franchise pioneer with Brightway Insurance, where he has built one of the organization's top performing agency and earned national recognition for his leadership and operational excellence. As a coach, speaker, and author of Business Masterclass, Billy is committed to helping entrepreneurs and agency owners elevate their performance, culture, and customer experience. Known for his disciplined approach, community focus, and passion for personal growth, Billy continues to inspire and influence professionals across the independent agency channel. Billy, if you would, to get started, tell us about your agency and the makeup of your team.
It's been a fun journey. We actually are just celebrating our 20th year in business this year, which is really cool. I started out back in 2006 as a terrified person, not I say less than scratch. I didn't know what I was doing, completely clueless. What I think has been some of my secret sauce is I understand how to design outcomes. I know how to build processes and systems, and we can get into some of that stuff today. But really, the agency now is built up. We have about 15 people on our sales team that organize the sales process, and it's mostly focused on the home buying process with realtors and lenders. And so we basically work referral-based process. We educate clients. We provide a different level of experience, and we like to give people what we call total client protection, which is really making sure they understand what they have and what they don't have, and what they need, and help them and guide them and help them get that peace of mind. So it's a fun place to be, but it's a 20-year journey with definitely a lot of pain and struggle. But we're in a very good place now, and we're excited about the future.
What would you say makes your team great?
A couple of things. One is we're really focused on the experience, and the amount of time we spend with our team to develop and train them is unheard of in our industry.
Yeah.
They are ninjas. They are incredibly good, and we spend the time to focus on that. So we've, not only when we hire somebody, we get 300 applicants and we pick the best person out of 300. So we're already starting at a very high caliber person, and then we pour into them, and we have a foolproof process that we have developed actually quite recently over the last 3 or 4 years, where every single person that we bring on has become $1 million producer. And we've had almost 100% success rate. If someone fails in our organization, they fail in the first 90 days. And so once they make it past that 90 days, we have a proven system that will make sure that they are a very successful person in this industry, and they have a career forever as long as they follow our lead. So we've got a great team of people that are, denting the community and making people smile, and providing these wow experiences all day long. And we built up 750 referral partner relationships
Wow.
that are huge for us, and that's built over 20 years, right? The trust that those real estate partners give to us is monumental, and we treat them like gold, and that's been, kind of some of our secret sauce.
I know that team culture is vital at Brightway. Uh, Talk about some of the ways that you maintain and create that team culture.
We came from very humble beginnings, and the way that we do culture and how things go. And if you don't have your intensity around trying to protect it, it's very quickly can get away from you. We have this mantra of like constant and never ending improvement. It's like, here we are now, and honestly, where are we at, and then how can we get better? Our culture starts really with a defined purpose. you can't get people excited about how many insurance policies you sell or whatever. That's not exciting to anyone. But in our business, in our industry, we have a common person that we all get behind, which is that we make an impact today. So what that means is that every single person on our team, all 15 of us, will make somebody smile, laugh, or feel valued before they leave every single day. So we are denting our community again, as I said, with smiles, making people feel awesome. We have somebody that's a wow weaver that basically anything that my team can dream up by listening intently to conversations and responding creatively, they will send something to the client. We have a certain budget each month that we're basically trying to wow people at all times. We started that several years ago, and it's just who we are. So every day, imagine working at a place where every day you're trying to make somebody smile, laugh, or feel valued, and that's the common objective. And then the other thing that I think is really important is we actually, a lot of people say they have values and core values, but we live them. We only have three of them. We hire based on them, we fire based on them, and we live them, right? And they are, if somebody is going to work in our organization, they have to be able to grow relationships. And it doesn't mean that they have to grow referral partners, but they have to grow relationships with our carriers, with our community, with our clients, with each other. It's required. So if you're a person that cannot grow relationships, then you can't work here.
Yeah.
And we are also, we have one of our favorites is to be a 5-star human. And what that means is that if somebody were following you around in life, would they rate you 5 stars all the time?
Mm.
And how can you operate in a way where you're making sure that that is always happening? And then the last one is we have fun together, right? And so part of having a good culture is that you have fun. And we do a ton of stuff together that is super unique and different. But we're doing community service, we're doing happy hours. We might surprise the team and say, hey, you guys can wear pajamas today. We're going to make you breakfast. Like, we're constantly looking for things like that to make them feel valued, because if we show them how we value them, they're going to then return the favor to our clients. So for 20 years, we've improved our benefits and we have a massage chair in the office, we have a cafe. So we are constantly looking for ways to make them feel great. And as a byproduct of that, I think it comes from like leadership, like setting the tone and the standard, but it's also them just enjoying being together and then creating friendships among each other that are where they don't want to not come to the office. They like being there, right? So that's a very long answer, but that's really the way I think about our culture.
So to back up just a little bit to how do you, I mean, I know your hiring process. I've read it, and it's been, it's been kind of expanded on since I've read it, I believe.
Yeah.
But you must measure for the right person. What are some of the ways that you do this? Do you and in order to work in Brightway, you're only looking for A players. You've spoken about that. They have to be driven, they have to be driven to want to be better themselves, both professionally and personally. So what are some ways that you try and find, the right person out of 300? How do you whittle this down to find the
Yeah.
right person?
Yeah. And we do have 21 steps, right? So like that's 21 steps to our hiring process. Every time we made a mistake, we added a step. That's how we got to that number. That's part of the thing is like, number one, we're creating an environment where people are like, wow, this is a hard job to get into, right? But when we look at those folks, what we did was we said, okay, what are the primary things that make people successful in our organization, right? And we measure them based on that. So there's like a scoring
Yeah.
grade. And I've been out of this for a little while, so I don't have it exactly in front of me, but it's
Yep.
essentially like how competitive they are, right? So if they're not a competitive person, they will not do well. Like we want somebody that goes, oh, I see that person's doing that over there. How are they doing that? And they're going over there to ask them questions and be like, what are you doing that's making you successful? And then being able to implement that. We need people that can get stuff done, right? Like there's a measurement that I measure my team on this, but we talk about it in the interview process. Like there's somebody that's like, okay, this needs to get done, and they knock it out like really quickly, and you give that to somebody and then it's completed. We are also looking for the attribute of gratefulness. You know, you
Mhm.
can't teach people to be happy and grateful. You can only hire happy and grateful people. They're not really
Yeah,
going to,
that's
you
right.
can
Right.
incrementally improve it, but you're looking for people that have just this bubbly, high personality, high agency that can get stuff done, that are grateful, that are competitive, that are going to be good with computers and can, you know, just basically sound trustworthy on the phone, right? And so, and then we also filter through our core values, right? Can they grow relationships? Can they be a 5-star human? And can we have fun together? And so those are kind of some of the attributes that we look at when we're hiring, just to make sure that that person's going to fit in well. We measure that, like every year we do an annual review with our team, and we're measuring on those attributes, the core values and where we are at. And so we take it very, very seriously. And I will tell you that was a mistake that I made early on, is I didn't really have those core values. I didn't have a common purpose. And you know, so it's really, we got to have the vision as leaders where we want to take this business. We got to get out in front and share where we're going, and we got to help people get there.
You know, in addition to the setting high standards for growth, and you want this. One thing I think is special about your team, about your business, is you give back to your employees and you make this a great place to work. Every year you add benefits to your benefits package. Talk about some of the unique benefits that you provide for your team.
We have a full suite of benefits, meaning that, you know, they get a sign-on bonus when they come on as licensed. We don't ever put a ceiling on their earning potential or their capacity. So we built out a pathway of 8 positions, which I'd love to talk a little bit more about and show you and break that down. But because I think that's really important to have a pathway for people. But we have all the traditional health insurance, the dental, we have short-term disability, long-term disability, we have 401ks with a 4% match. They have a full at-home setup with 3 monitors, whether they're at home or at the office, they can work 100%. We do half-day Fridays, where every Friday, 2 people take a half day. And so we do talk space sessions where they can talk to a counselor for free, no questions asked. If they just want to talk to somebody, it's already paid for. We do paid volunteer hours, team socials. They have a marketing budget. And we do company trips. Every year we do a company trip based on a certain goal. And so like last year we did a cruise, and we, the first time ever, invited all their spouses. So we had over 32
Oh,
people on a
wow.
cruise. And they earned that by doing 4,000 impacts, like making people smile, laugh, and feel valued, right? And so, and then the year before we said, okay, if you grow 100 new referral partner relationships, we're all gonna go to Puerto Rico, right? So
Yeah.
we put a really focused goal on the year, and then when we get it, we celebrate it, and we love to celebrate with each other. And so we're constantly, again, looking at ways to be unique and different, and just to show them how much they are valued.
How are some of these metrics measured? Right, somebody has to keep a spreadsheet or look at it, or what, how are those measured?
Yeah, we have a scorecard. We have KPIs. Everybody on the team has their own business plan with their own KPIs and what winning looks like for their role. So it's very clearly defined for them. And then we have a scorecard. We have a weekly meeting, and that scorecard, people basically just have to say, am I on track or am I off track, based
Yeah.
on the goals that are provided for them, right? And so these goals are made with them. They're part of the process, and they're 100% bought in on making sure that they hit the number. They know that we've got to hit
Yeah.
this goal. And so, you know, we're measuring about 4 or 5 things, but it's constant improvement on that. And we do weekly one-on-ones with them. And then there's a leadership meeting every single week as well, where the leadership team is also evaluated on scorecard with KPIs. And so there's a lot of different metrics. We have a ton of data. We can really measure whatever we want to measure. And we try not to overwhelm the team. We try to like have 3 or 4 common things that we're always measuring. And then we're always like trying to change a behavior with them. And that behavior change is usually on a quarterly basis. So I'll give you a quick example. Like we started a process where we wanted everyone to send out a policy proposal with 4 different policy types. So if somebody requests a homeowner's insurance, they get it is mandatory in our office for them to get 4 other policy types. So they would get auto, flood, umbrella, life, whatever, jewelry, whatever that client needed, but it's a requirement. So in order to make that
Mm,
change, number one, you got to train them. Number two, you got to hold them accountable. You got to secret shop your
yeah.
office to make sure it's happening, and you got to measure the metric. And then we have somebody doing spot checks. And so when we make a change like that, we're all in on the change. We know that it's going to lead to the right things, and we're all behind it. And we're not measuring a ton of things. We're just measuring certain things to make sure that we keep moving the ball forward.
You touched on that you are not involved as much as you were, or in a process, and so I wanted to touch on that. You have Chris in your office is now the agency principal. I think that's super unique. Talk a little bit about the development of a leader, not only another leader, the leader, which that's so unique and really should be a goal for most of us to eventually get to that point where we could have somebody take over that role. Talk about that process of developing the new principal of the agency.
It probably was 3 to 5 years in where I was like, okay, this is a successful business. I can see this scaling. I can see this going well. I want to work myself out of a job. That's kind of my goal. I want to make sure that as we scale, I'm pulling myself out so that I can work on the priority items to move us forward, to grow our business, right? Over the years, that's always been my mentality. I would take every single role in the agency and I would put it on one document, and I would go, okay, every year we're going to shift these roles and we're going to start giving these responsibilities to different people. As you scale, you grow. And people in life want to grow, right? They
Yeah.
want to have growth. They're happiest when they're growing. And so we do that with our entire team. So everybody on our team has a personal life plan and a business plan. And so as I was working through this, you're also like, my advice to everyone is to have a current org chart, like what is your org chart now? And then what is your future org chart? And
Mm,
so, 5 years ago, I knew we were going to get to the point we are right now. And I know where we're going 5 years from now. And I know how many people we need. I know exactly what roles we need to fill. And every year that gets broken down into which roles that you need to fill, right? And so Chris has been with me for 15 years, 16 years maybe. It's been a while. So almost from the beginning. He was the number one producer, and and it was like, okay, I was the number one producer and then he was the number one producer, and then we were like, okay, well, who's going to do more sales than this person? He kept scaling. We built people around him and he scaled it, and he was at one point, I think he wrote $4 million in new business in one year, which is crazy. $1 million producer in our model is successful, right? And so but it was like, okay, well, how does he keep evolving, right? And so he's got all these relationships, and how do you move those relationships over? I had to do that with myself to give them,
yeah.
to the rest of the agency. So it's been an evolution. It's been a part of the process that we've been working on, and it's getting him out of the sales process is one of the hardest
Yeah.
things to do, right? And there's a lot of owners that are in the sales process
That's right.
that's something that they probably need to do. And so, through a combination of him stepping up into this new position, and then also for about 5 or 6 years, we've had an operations person that is really good at, Chris's weaknesses, and he has certain strengths that the operations person doesn't have. And I knew that I needed all these strengths to have a very successful agency. And so we have an agency principal now, we have an operations manager. My main responsibility is developing them as leaders, making sure they know what's important, what are the metrics we're looking at, how do we celebrate people that are winning, and for them to be unselfish, to basically be they win by other people winning, right? And so getting that mentality into them has been really, really cool, and watching them grow into that. And we have some other leadership positions coming down the road too that we've mapped out and we know are coming, and we're developing people for those as well.
But to your point about people that like to grow by putting this out there, by being transparent, they see that potential to move up the ladder and
Yeah.
take that next step to the next level. What was it like for Chris to transition from a producer role to more of a leadership role? Because that's hard for a lot of people.
It was a steady, like again, it was a steady process. And this is how we've designed our business too, where we have like levels for all the team members and the positions. So I had a levels for him, right? So it was kind of like I need you focused on this. And so he's now evolved into, it started out like, again, I remember it is like, okay, you're going to handle the first round of customer complaints about something. You're going to get in there and you're going to try to solve that issue for them, right? And I was like, you can give me a couple a year that are really bad and I'll take them, but you're going to try to handle that part of it, right? So
Yeah.
it's like literally breaking down. And then it was like, okay, now your job, instead of creating referral partner relationships for yourself, you're now helping the team create that. So how do you scale
Yeah.
yourself? And so
Mm.
it's like, you're really good at the sales process. Now the entire team needs to be really good at the sales process. And it's been a challenge. I mean, he gets 400 emails a day. So we literally, it's a full-time position for someone to just sit in his emails and work, the stuff that's coming in, because it's all these referral partners and he's got a $20 million book of business. So it's not easy to kind of manage through that process.
Yeah.
But again, it's been a slow evolution, constant, never ending improvement. As I said, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit more responsibility. And, we'll continue to keep evolving that, like we'll end up hiring a business development person. Well, he does that, we'll probably end up hiring a sales leader. He's leading the sales team now. We'll have a sales leader as well. So we've got big plans for growth, and he's going to, again, sit at the top of this organization for hopefully the next 10 to 15 years. He's a younger guy, and so he's got a career trajectory out there, and he's got a lot of opportunity for growth. And I'm excited to watch where he takes the business next.
What does winning look like for Brightway at the end of 2026?
We've implemented some different tools and technologies, and we're trying to get faster, and we're working through that right now. We're measuring, literally measuring seconds and minutes on speed. We are trying to be faster. Like that's been our secret sauce, but it continues to get harder as you scale. But for us, we also have to solve a location situation. So we need to either purchase another agency or expand our building because we're out of space. We're trying to give back to the community in a different way more than anybody else. I mean, I have a goal that I want to give over $1 million back, and we're about halfway there. So I want to continue doing that. And so we're going to be sponsoring another nonprofit this year. We're going to add 3 people to the team, 3 new people to the team, and work them through our process of development. And so, for us, we're on offense now. We have been on defense for, the last, I don't know, it feels like 7 years. And it was like a flip of the switch. Those of you that are still in a little bit of a hard market, I mean, we're in such a soft market right now. It's crazy. We've got 17 new companies coming in, and so we're trying to figure out how to navigate that best as we go forward. So there's a lot of change, but we're ahead of it, and we're much more proactive than we used to be. We were reactive in the past. Now we're ahead of it. We know where we're going. We got the goals laid out, and every year we put, like, when you ask that question of like what does winning look like at the end of 26, we have this in a video, and we create our own video for the entire team, and it has all the annual goals, what we're trying to accomplish, and it has everyone's individual goals all in one place. And so it's all very well defined, and every month we're looking at that as an entire team to see where we are, where we're headed, and holding people accountable to what they said they were going to do.
What does winning look like for Billy at the end of 2026?
Yeah, so I am trying to spend as much time with my family as I possibly can, because I've got 2 teenagers that are, one's going off to college, and my daughter is, she's a sophomore right now in high school. So spending as much time with my family as I possibly can, working on my health. I believe health
Mm.
is the number one wealth, and I've got a very defined morning routine that I'm really trying to focus on. Eating better and exercising, and I'm doing sauna and stretching, and really just trying to focus on my health. And yeah, and I think that's it. Just, creating memories, making memories with my family.
Yeah.
I want further development and growth for the team. I'm constantly learning for them. I just did a Harvard online class last year to try to learn leadership. So I'm constantly trying to grow and
Mm.
evolve, and I've got some other things that I'm working on, but I'm not ready to unleash them yet, because I'm really focused on those priorities of family and health, The other thing that I've done over the last 2 to 3 years is in my city, Jacksonville, Florida, we had no family. And over the last 3 years, I've been working the Billy Wagner incentive program to get people to move here. And I have been successful with that. I've got my in-laws now live here full time. My mom lives about zero point 0.8 miles away. We walk every morning together. I got my brother here. So it's super cool to just get family around you and spend those meaningful time with them. Like I would have seen my brother like once a year had I not moved him here, and now I see him every week. So that's been pretty cool.
That's really cool. You can't do the volume and have the growth that you guys do without good systems. And you are somewhat of a systems master. You referenced new technologies. What kind of technology are you guys using to operate your business and to get faster?
We have our own proprietary kind of CRM called Fusion, and we're really trying to make sure that that is working very efficiently. I'll give you an example. Something we just implemented that I think is one of the best products out there is Wispr Flow. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
I
it's
just heard of
literally,
it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we do not type anymore, so at all. So there's no typing, whether it be on our phone or our computer anymore. So it's a lot noisier in our office, but we're constantly looking to save seconds and minutes wherever we possibly can. We're investing a ton in AI search, like to try to figure out how to show up in search in AI. And so we're I wouldn't say we're not at the cutting edge. I don't like to be at the cutting edge because of, again, our scale and speed. We have to be efficient, and so you can't keep changing things and testing things. But we do, when we find a product that is something that makes our job easier or makes things faster or smoother, we're jumping on it, right away. One of the things that we're trying to solve for, and there's a lot of technologies out there that are also trying to do it, is really a way to look at the rating quoting thing in a much faster pace, intelligently looking at renewal increases and what to work, what not to work, and those kind of things. So we don't have that solved, but that
Yeah.
is the ability to manage our email pipelines more efficiently with AI is also something that we're investing and looking into, and then the ability to manage our like quoting platform and renewal price increasing is another one that we're really trying to solve for. So we hope to have some solutions by the end of this year on both of those.
To touch on that Whisper piece, from what I've looked into, you can voice in your emails, right? You can voice in your notes in your management system. It'll integrate with everything. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah. So it's you can, some of you might be a good typer, but you can still type, like, I mean, speak 4 to 6 times faster than you can type, right? So just from a speed perspective, like we're literally, you push two buttons on your keyboard and you're just recording, whether you are in your agency management, your CRM, your rater, or in your email, you're constantly speaking. And it's really like, we looked at this technology 5 years ago, we needed it, and it was awful. And we were like, we
Yeah.
put it on the shelf for a long time, and now it is so good that it picks up tone, it picks up, like, is this a question or not a question? Does punctuation, corrects the grammar. It's a really, really solid product.
That was going to be, one of my last questions was your philosophy on AI. And it sounds like, you are constantly exploring and looking for ways, that it's going to make you more efficient. My feeling is that there's a lot of programs, kind of as you've referenced to Wispr, that aren't quite there yet, but they're close. Are there any other systems that you're using? What's your general feeling on AI in our industry?
Yeah, I think it's got a long way to go. I think that there is, I think it will move very fast, but we have not found a whole lot of tools that we can plug into our agency right now that make us better and faster. There's a lot of ideas, but it's not always as easy as it sounds, right? And so I think, having your own system in like a custom ChatGPT or something that is housing all of your information, that is a source of all things for your business, is really smart. Making sure that it's private and custom. I think there's a lot of agencies out there where they don't realize their agents are all using AI on their own, and they don't realize how dangerous it is. And honestly,
Mhm.
they're probably not even asking the question, but everyone's using it, right? They're using it for emails and everything else. And so you got to make sure that you're doing that in a safe and effective way. And if you don't
Yep.
provide an option for them to do it, then they're going to be freelancing that on their own personal, right? And that's just dangerous. So I would encourage everyone to just at least make sure that you have a system where you have a large language model option available to you. The products are getting better, and they're embedded, with Copilot and things like that are being embedded in different products. And so I would make sure that you have a product that is operating in that way, that is successfully making sure that you're not falling behind on it. But from an operations standpoint, I don't think there is a whole lot of tools where it's like, here, this one, you can plug it in.
I think so too. And I think, that's a lot of in our, whether it's a Facebook thread or whatever, everybody's looking for that magic program, right? That what does do this? And I I don't think it's there yet, but I agree with you. I think it's close. I don't think it's far away. We definitely have to keep our finger on the pulse, I believe, or I think we will be behind. But I want to thank you for your time today. So much value as always, and super happy for you, for what you've been able to develop and how you've been able to kind of back out and really just be the CEO of the entire business. And I bet you just love that. I know you love being a coach, and
Yeah.
I bet this is just a fun time for you. So super excited for you to be able to do that.